Good morning. We are live, and this is Saturday morning in the kitchen. I'm Leona Dooley, and this is Ebony, Ivy, and Time. And here in our kitchen, we are always trying to do things that are inspiring, that are creative, that are just fun, lots of chit chat. And especially because we're in the kitchen, we're loving on our family, and we're trying to build stronger families one meal at a time. And today in the kitchen is going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to get together today. We are going to put together, going to do a little baking today. And I don't always do a lot of baking. Hey, Dad, how are you? Happy Saturday. You said it's snowing? Oh my goodness, Deb. Let's see if I can get you in there. Okay. So Deb's telling us that it's snowing in Wisconsin this morning. Woo! Well, to be honest with you, here in Virginia, it is a little chilly also. And we woke up this morning to about 32 degrees, but the sun is shining, and it's actually supposed to go up to about 60 degrees. Now, so that you don't feel like you're seasick, I'm playing with a new toy today, and it's supposed to track me in the kitchen. So I'm just kind of fiddling around with it, seeing whether or not it's going to be worth the while to keep it or whether I'm going to send it back. And so I'm just having a good time. So we're going to get started today. Hey, Karen. Hello, this is Karen Nash. Good morning. Sue is on. Good morning. It's so good to see you guys. I am blessed by your presence and happy that you're here with us today. We are going to have a fun time. This morning, I have to stop and tell you before we really get into the cooking, or maybe I'll go around the corner and hey, Ronnie, and we're going to start cooking. Good morning, Kim. And once I get on that side, I'm not going to be able to read because I was trying not to put the glasses on because, it's such a glare to get those glasses on. But you know what? We got to do what we got to do because we have to be able to see. So I want to make sure that I see what you're saying. But once I get on that side, I really won't be able to see for a little while. So I'm going to go over here. We're going to get started. And we'll see how this tracking goes about. Now, we are going to start today with some apple pie muffins. And we've been trying to make sure that we get a good breakfast in. And so I am going to start with some muffins. So the big guy will have muffins for breakfast. He likes those. And if you can't hear, you'll have to let me know. Hopefully you can. And so I'm going to get started. Now, I have to admit I cheated a little bit, and I did a little bit before you got here. I fixed the streusel topping that's going to go to these muffins already. And in this streusel topping, I just have brown sugar. I've got some butter. I've got some Preheat pecans. I actually ordered Preheat pecans because our pecans, the last ones that I got, didn't taste very good. Preheat specializes in pecans. So that's the reason why I went ahead and ordered quite a few. And I keep them in the freezer so that I have them when I need them. So I have butter, pecans, I have a little cinnamon, and some brown sugar. So anyway, those are all stirred up and ready to go. So we're going to start to make the batter for the muffins. And I have placed in my bowl, that's what I was going to tell you. This morning, you know that I've taken just about everything out of these kitchen cabinets. So everything's gone. And so then this morning, I was running around for about an hour trying to make sure I found everything that I needed. So it was quite an adventure. So anyway, we're going to work through it, though. We're going to work through it, though, because that's what family does. You all get your coffee. I've got mine. And we're just going to have a fun time right here in the kitchen. Now, I'm hoping that this tracker doesn't drive you crazy because I'm noticing that it does kind of sort of, if I lean or whatever, it moves. So I'm going to try to ignore it and hope that it does what it's supposed to do. So when I look back on this video, I'll have to see whether or not it's working. Okay, now, so in this bowl, I have a half cup of butter, and I need 1 cup of regular sugar. So I'm using a half cup measure, and I'm going to add in a cup of sugar to our bowl. So that's a half. And I put in another half. So we have a cup of sugar that's in there. And I'm going to give that a little beat. It took me, I know, every bit of 45 minutes to find the beaters. I could find the mixer, couldn't find the beaters, but I finally got them. So you all just hold on. We're going to mix these up. I never did find my KitchenAid beaters because that was actually what we were going to use, KitchenAid, but not today. Not today. That's not going to happen. So this is a little noisy, and we're going to start it and get it done. Now, in addition to this, we got the butter, we got the sugar, and I'm going to throw in 2 eggs that I've already beaten. So I'm putting in those 2 eggs. And we're just going to mix these up. I hope you have had a wonderful week. I spent yesterday with Ladybug. I picked her up from school yesterday. And we had a great time. And in fact, she even went with us over to some friend's house. And I think she had as much fun as we did. So it was just a good time yesterday. So we've got, oh yeah, this mixture is looking good. Now I need, whoo, that's noisy. I need a half teaspoon of salt because, you know, anytime you're doing something that's a little sweet, you need to add a little bit of salt. So I've got my salt, a teaspoon. I add about a half, sprinkle that in. Okay. Salt check, teaspoon check, and we need about 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. So I have 1 bottle of vanilla that is just about empty. I'm going to see where that goes. Well, that wasn't even a smidgen. That was a waste of a bottle. So I'm just going to throw that little bit in. Okay, so now let's open up the one that is pretty new. All right, so I like vanilla. So I'm going to give it 1 good teaspoon. All right, so we have our vanilla in. We don't want to leave that out. We're also going to need a little bit of cinnamon. And I'm going to add about a half teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm going to sprinkle that in. That's there. Got my wet spoon and my dry spoon. So that takes care of that. And let's give it a beat. Well, we got a lot of things going on today. You know, the weather across the country has been crazy. Were any of you affected by the terrible storms that went through? We had tornado warnings and tornado watches and all kinds of things going on Thursday. In fact, so much so that the kids were late getting out of school because they didn't want to release them. Okay, so we have our sugar, we've got our butter and vanilla, we've got our eggs, salt, and now we're going to be ready for the dry ingredients. Now I need 2 cups of flour. I'm going to use my half cup measure, and I'm going to try to be pretty accurate, so I'm going to scoop and swipe. That's 1, 2, 3, and that's 4 half cups. 4. All right, so that's 2 whole cups of flour that we have in our apple pie muffins this morning. I hope everyone is having a fantastic time. I need a teaspoon of baking soda, and let me get my 1 teaspoon. Yeah, I have 1 teaspoon of baking soda. I'm gonna sprinkle that in. We put the salt in. We're good with that. Oh, I need a teaspoon of baking powder. Hold on. I didn't take that out. Cornstarch, baking powder. I'm losing things, but that's okay. We're in the kitchen. We're having fun. So we have our baking powder. Let's put our teaspoon. Ta-da! There he is. Okay, we're good. All right, I'll set that off to the side. Now we're going to get a little noisy for a moment. I hope you guys are sharing with each other about your week and the exciting things that you've done this week. I hope it's wonderful. Hope you've had a really good time. I'll turn it up for just a minute. Okay, now remember, these are apple pie muffins. So I have in this bag, I keep apples and apple pie fillings all the time in the freezer. So I am going to add about 2 cups of apple pie fillings. And this is my mixture. So I have regular apples as well as the canned apple pies. So we've got, this is a half cup measure. So there's 1. And I'm hoping there's enough. It's pretty juicy. There's 2. We're going to need that juice. You know, I think it's just about going to take all of it. There's 3. And you know what? It's going to take the rest of this bowl. So I'm just going to take all of this and get all of that into our mixture. Woo! Okay, there we go. All those apples. We want to get them all out of there because there's lots of goodness inside of there. So now we're going to give it a good beat. And this is the moisture for your muffins. Because when you first look at it and you've mixed everything up, it's going to look a little bit dry. But it's not dry anymore because those apples are in there and they are just bringing the moisture to this mixture. Okay. Oh, I wish you could smell it. You know, apple pie always smells fantastic. Okay. But we don't want to overmix because we do not want our muffins tough. So that's enough of that. I'm going to take these off because we won't need those anymore. And I'm going to set this off to the side. Let me put that in the sink. And we are ready. So I'm bringing over my muffin tin. We'll move the buttermilk out of the way. Move that out of the way so you can see. And as I was going through the kitchen, you would not believe all of the variety and mixture of muffin liners that I found. So it was so funny. It was like going back through all of the holidays. So while I'm taking a look at those, let's see who's on. Hey, I see Denise. Oh, good. She said she made the best bread pudding. Wow. Good morning, Sin. How are you? Who else is there? Oh, yeah. Hey, Anna. All right, Nanny. Is there? Oh, good, Kim. The volume's good. Oh, that's great. That's great. So I just wanted you all to see. I've got the little pink pastels from last Easter. I've got Christmas. I mean, it is a true mixture. Now, you know, I'm going to try to start with the best holiday. Now, this one is, oh, goodness, it says Noel and season's greetings. Oops, season's greetings on the bottom. So we'll try to hold off on Christmas as long as we can. But here's our Halloween with the pumpkins. This is a bag full of all kinds of goodies. And then we just have some little red and white dotted Swiss. I love those. And we have some gold metallics. So we have quite a selection. But you know what? With the big guys going through these muffins, he doesn't care what it looks like. I'm the only one that really cares whether or not they're in the appropriate muffin tin. So we're going to start with the Eastery ones. And if we have enough, then we're good to go. So, okay, let's get going. All right. So I'm going to take these, and I just lightly sprayed the pan because just in case they bubbled over a little bit, I did not want them to stick. So I'm starting with yellow. You know, I do believe we're going to have more than enough. Lots of yellow. There's more in here than I thought. Oh, that's good. I'm just now changing colors. How about that? So this is a little like mint green, just very soft and very, very springy. Let's see if I can get to, I have to have some pink. Come on, gotta have pink. All right, so let me get some pink ones down here. And we're gonna have we're gonna have 3 pink. And we're gonna have 3 green. And, okay. And we've got 6 yellow. I got carried away with the yellow, but there's just those 3 colors, and that's okay. So we got pink, green, and yellow. So we're good to go. And I'll put these for the moment over here because I have a feeling we may actually have more mixture than we have space. So we may have to do 2 loads. So I'm going to see if I can use this is a 1/3 cup measure, and I think a 1/3 cup is probably going to be just a little too much, but we'll see. We'll play with it. So I'm putting that, dropping a 1/3 cup in. Look at that. Oh, yeah, 1/3 cup is definitely too much. So, but that's okay. This is started, and I don't want to dirty up another one. How about that? So we're just going to kind of scoop in to our muffin tins. And I want them to be pretty. Now, there's going to be a streusel topping that's going to go on these. We're going to let them bake a little while, and then we'll put the topping on because we don't want that topping to burn. And then we're going to go over to the stove, and we're going to do a little work over at the stove. All right. Oh, yeah, we're going to have quite a bit. We're going to probably need about 3 pans of muffins. So let's get that going. Oh, it smells so good. What have y'all cooked good this week? Did you do something different? And Denise was talking about her bread pudding. Oh my goodness. You know, now that's one thing I can say. I have never made bread pudding. And I don't know why, but I've just never made bread pudding. So Denise, I'm gonna have to go back and look at your channel and find out how you made the bread pudding and try it out. So we're going to, or maybe She might have to teach me one morning while we're on Saturday morning. That'll be fun. Because you know the cooking divas are going to have to get back in the kitchen. And we'll work that out. All right. I hope everyone is wonderful. You've had a great week. We have had a really good week. Here we go. Oops. I'm slinging, but that's okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think it's going to be about 2 pans of muffins. So I may take some over to the Grands and let them have some apple pie muffins. They like them. And I like to give them to them because then they eat them and I'm not eating. Because, you know, our young people are so much more active than we are. And they can burn those calories off. And they just seem, my calories want to hang around. So we're dealing with that. So I'm just going to go through, just gently tap on the tops. I know they will level off as they cook. If I see something that needs a little extra, then I'll put that in. But for the most part, whoops, that one turned. Most of these are just right. Okay. Oh, that looks good. All right, so whoop, I'm going to get a paper towel. And just make sure I clean up our pan. So it look pretty for you all. I wish you could smell these because they smell wonderful. All right, so our apple pie muffins are ready for 350 oven. It's already, the oven is nice and hot and it is ready to go. So let's get it in. Okay, let's see what our time is on that. And I have just enough, I think, for another pan. Okay, so they're going to stay in the oven for about, let's see. We're going to put them in for about 15 minutes. And then in 15 minutes, we'll sprinkle the streusel topping. I'm going to set our timer. Okay. All right. And I can turn the fan off so that won't be in the background. Now, while we're working and the streusel topping is ready, I'm going to set this off to the side for now. I am going to put together some biscuits. Now, I have a couple of friends who are going to be coming over tomorrow after church, and they are, we're going to warm up some biscuits because I won't have time to cook them from scratch on a Sunday. So I have in this bowl 3 cups of self-rising flour. Now, I like King Arthur. I like White Lily. Those are my 2 preferences as far as brands are concerned. But you know what? Sometimes if you can't find your preference, then you're going to go with what you can find. So this container, this is my self-rising flour container. And you know what? When I'm filling it up, I don't even think about what's in the bottom. I just make sure I put in some additional self-rising flour, give it a good shake, and we're ready to go. Now, in here, I also need to add about a 4 teaspoons of baking soda. So I'm going to sprinkle that in, and that's all we need, because all of the other leavening agents are already in our flour. So that's a good thing. We just need to bump up the bump up the baking soda a bit. It has baking flour, baking powder already in it. Now we're going to need about a 1/4 cup of shortening. And you know, you don't have to be terribly exact, but I'm going to add in, and this has been softened. I even left it out overnight just to make sure that it was pretty soft. So I'm going to start with about a 1/4 cup of softened shortening. Now I'm using, this just happens to be the butter flavored shortening. But you know, very often I use whatever kind of shortening I have. And so, but this is what I had, it was open, that's what we're using. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to start to add a little bit of buttermilk. Now I'm going to shake up this buttermilk because you know sometimes buttermilk will separate just a little bit. So always make sure that you shake your buttermilk really well before you start to use it, because you want to make sure that you have your mixture ready. And I'm going to pour out about a cup. Now I may not put the whole cup in, but we want it nice and thick. And in fact, we may have to add just a tad bit more before we go. So I'm just going to put in a little bit, about half of that cup at this point. I'm going to sit that there, and I'm going to use our fingers, and I'm going to mix the shortening and the buttermilk together. And if some of the flour gets in there, it's okay. We're just doing a little squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then after we get that shortening all mixed up with that buttermilk, we're going to start to add in the flour. Now let's talk about why we're doing this today. You know, as we are going through these times of high inflation, our grocery bill is increasing. For our young homemakers, they need to learn how to cook. They need to learn, one of the big items, especially if you have children, is all about the bread. Making sandwiches, making breakfast, and having muffins or biscuits or whatever it may be for breakfast to give them something good as they go out that door. Now, as you can see, this is pretty dry. So I already know we're going to need some more buttermilk. So I'm going to add the rest of that buttermilk, which wasn't much. So I'm going to pour out just a little more. And we want this to be a nice, soft, I think of it almost as a baby's bottom. So I'm pouring out about another 3/4 of a cup. Now I'm not going to put all of it in there, but I'm going to start to continue to mix while we're doing this. Now, but they need to know that we may have to do a lot of cooking, and that cooking that we can do in advance for our families is going to help save you in the long run. So as you're working through the flour, you're working through the work world, you're working through your meals, there's just so many things to work through. You have to think about the fact that our babies need to eat. You need to eat. Your family needs to eat. And we are going to start taking a look and putting together meals that will be good for our family, because we do not want to see them hungry if we can help it. So I'm just taking this ball and it's starting to pull everything away from the side. And you'll know there won't be any straggly parts. If you have to add a little bit, sometimes the flour is a little drier. And if it is, it's okay, because you know you just have to use a little extra buttermilk, and that's okay. So I'm just folding it over, and then I'm going to put it out on our surface. Okay. Now I'm going to push that off, try to get as much off the hands as possible. I'm going to wash my hands, wipe off the counter, And then I'm going to sprinkle some flour down on the counter. So let's get this all nice and cleaned up. I have a grocery haul that's going to be coming up this week that you're going to see. And we're going to talk some more about shopping and preparing our extended pantry, which hopefully you've been working on for quite a while. But if you haven't, it's never too late. So whatever you can add to your pantry as well as your extended pantry, those are the types of things that you want to be able to do. So we're going to be looking at that and talking about that. So let me get our counter cleaned off. It was pretty clean, but I got little dustings here and there. So we're going to get all that clean. Okay, now I need to sprinkle a little flour here. Where's our regular flour? Just a little. And that's just to kind of keep it from sticking so bad to the countertop. This is a great counter to be able to work with. So I'm going to put all of that in and put it over there. Give my hands another rinse. And I'm going to actually sprinkle the top of this. And you know, if you get just a little bit too much of the buttermilk in, because I went ahead and added the rest of what I had in. So it's a little loose, but that's okay, because what we're going to do is that we're going to take it, we're going to fold, and we're just going to keep folding until it gets to the consistency that we want. And if that means we have to add extra flour, we'll do that, but you don't want dry biscuits. You want your biscuits to be pretty moist. So I can see that I'm going to need just a little bit more flour. Let me add a little more in. I should have left that top off. I'm going to put that on the side. And we're just going to keep working with it until we get it to the consistency we want. So I'm just sprinkling and adding. We're keeping them moist. Oh yeah, this is it. I can feel it. And you can feel when that texture is just right. Now watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to flatten this out. And I'm going to fold over to a third. And I'm going to fold the other side over. Because what we're doing is that we're building layers in our biscuit. And then I'm going to fold over a third. And then fold over a third. And that's another set. Now I'm going to turn it. Press just a little. Fold over a third. And fold it over a third. And we're building those nice flaky layers for our biscuits. Now, I'm just kind of rolling it just a little bit in the flour so it's easier to work with. And now, I'm going to get a press, just a little bit of a press. All right, now I'm going to clean my hands just a little bit more. And now I have official muffin cutters, you know, the little cutters that you use, but today I couldn't find them. So I'm going to take my juice glass. I'm going to dunk it in our mixture here. I have my cast iron pan. I took the wrapper from the butter and just gave it a good wipe around so that it'll be nice and moist. And, you know, you always want to use those kinds of things. I'm going to take my glass, we're going to go down and up, down and up. And what that's going to do is that we're going to cut it, but we don't want to seal them. So down, don't try not to twist, because I have a tendency sometimes just to do that, because I thought that's a long time ago, I thought that's what you were supposed to do, but you don't. You go straight down and up. So we're going to put them so they're touching each other. 2, 3, 4. There we go. Enough room for one more. See, we got a little bit left. You know, we aren't going to waste anything. So I'm putting all this together. Just kind of working a little bit, doing our layers again. And watch down. There's one. And you know what? I think we might be able to squeeze in one more. I'm hoping we can, because we have just about enough for one more. So I'm going to give him a little roll here, put him down, and cut. Did I get him? Yep, there we go. All right. And there he is. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 biscuits. And if I had enough room, I'd put in 9. One little baby one, but we don't. So we're going to leave that pan just the way it is. I actually have enough for one. But, so I'll leave it there in case I have a little extra spot somewhere. And we're going to move these things. And guess what also is going to be going in the oven? Now that's the coffee pot, not the stove that you hear. All right, so we have our pan of biscuits ready to go in the oven. So let's get them in. That'll give me, see how our timer's doing. Oh, we have less than a minute. And, woo, aren't they pretty? We're going to be ready to put these, you know, I think I'm going to put this pan, I don't know. We may put this pan down at the bottom. I don't know about you all. Do you all put your pans in the bottom of your oven? I do, especially my cast iron pans. So I'm going to take these cast iron skillets out so we have plenty of room. I'm going to put our biscuits here. Don't let me forget about these biscuits because they're down there. I'm going to bake them at 350. And I could actually turn those up just a tad, but we're not. So there's our first 15 minutes. All right. So let me get my mittens. And I'm going to need a towel over there. We're going to, now needless to say, there's going to have to be some cleanup. Serious cleanup. I'm going to sit this here because I need to set our pan down to put the streusel on. Oh, yeah. All right, I'm hearing you. Okay, there's our pan. They started cooking. And we're going to sprinkle these with the streusel topping. So we're working it this morning, guys. All right, so we've got our streusel topping. It has pecans and butter and cinnamon. I will sprinkle that streusel topping on each one. Just, I'm using a teaspoon, but I'll go back and add a little more if I can. Now, I probably could have put this on at the very beginning, but I was concerned about it burning. Sometimes, when you have a topping that's that sweet, that sometimes they burn. And I think when we do the second pan, we'll try it from the beginning and see if it really does make a difference. And if it doesn't, then I'll let you know that. Okay. So these little pecans are going to get candied. They're going to be delicious. So I'm just kind of going around and scooping up whatever fell. And sprinkling whatever needs a little extra. Oh yeah. There we go. Putting all that on there. All right, we're going to get this back in the oven for another about 15 minutes. 15-ish minutes. I think I'm going to check it at 10 just to see how it's doing. So I'll set the timer at 10. Okay, there we go. Okay, so our timer's set. And we're going to peek out from under this towel. There we have it. I'm going to give it a little shake over here. And then I'm going to come and get you because we're going to get a little up close and personal and start to finish off the rest of today's food. Let me get this up. There we go. All right. So let me come and get you. I'm going to put the tops on the container in case I lump them. There won't be a mess. How are you doing? Yay! All right. How's this new device working out, the tricks? Now we're going to, sorry, I'm bumping you around, bringing you over, but that's okay. And it's still tracking as we go. Let's see if I can bring it. What are you doing over there? Okay, come on over here. There he goes. You have to talk to him. So I'm going to try to set things up so that you'll be at the stove. And that's what we're going to try to do. I'm going to try to get you set right here at the stove. And okay. I tell you, it's driving me crazy. All right, so that froze. I stopped it there. I'm going to bring you down so you can see the stove. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. All right. Now, we're good to go here. We're at the stove. And at this point, we want to, what is it doing? See if we can straighten this up just a tad. All right, so I don't feel like I'm laying over one way or another. I'm not quite sure why it's tilting me, but we'll see. Okay, there we go. That's better. So we have everything going. Everything's nice and hot. I'll keep an eye on the biscuits. I had considered doing oven bacon, but not this morning. Too many things are going on in the oven. So we're going to start with our fire here. And we're just going to put together some bacon. I got a little flour in my pan. Okay. We're going to start with the bacon first. Now, I have some bacon, and actually tomorrow I'll probably finish up preparing this bacon for tomorrow. As I told you, I've got some friends who are going to be coming after church. And so I'll finish it up so that I won't have to worry about that. I can just kind of warm it up, and it will be just like new. So I'm going to put in about 6 slices here just to get us started. There we go. And I picked up some of this Holmes. I don't know if you all know about Holmes. It's the first time I've seen it, but it's called Holmes Smokehouse sausage, and it's pecan smoked. So they use the pecan. It's from pecan tree. I thought, okay, well, we've got apple pecan muffins, so we'll try pecan smoked sausage. So I'm going to cut just a little bit off. And put a little bit of that in the pan as well, because the big guy and I will have breakfast. And we'll see how it tastes. And if it's good, I'll let you know to be on the lookout for it. It smells good, but you know, most of the time your nose knows, and whether or not it's going to be really good. So I'm cooking our bacon, getting it going. We're going to have some eggs. We're just going to have a great breakfast this morning and get to spend time with each other together. So I am really enjoying this, you know, but like we had talked about the fact that we are helping our young homemakers by doing this Saturday morning. And it's amazing how much feedback you get from young homemakers. And it's funny, they'll message me, you know, the kids today, they know all the tricks. So they'll send a message, ask a question, you know, they're always trying to figure out something new. So I am just so excited to be able to do that. And we're trying to help them through the navigation of this inflationary period, because that's what's going on. We have inflation that has hit us, and we are looking for, I think it's Kim was saying, Emma searched online. Oh, okay, she's trying to find some brand names for her. I think, I'm going back up. Okay, I missed it. Okay. Oh, a substitute for shortening. She said it's not easy to find. Well, let me tell you this. You can find shortening. Use butter. Use butter. Just grate up your butter and put it right there in those biscuits. They will be buttery and wonderful as well. So if you can't find the shortening, use the butter. And they do the same job. So keep that in mind, Emma. You know, shortening, you're not locked into shortening. It's just that shortening kind of gives it one taste, butter gives it another. But by the time you finish these biscuits, you're going to have the taste of both, because we're going to brush them with butter at the end. But you know, when I don't have shortening, I use butter. And what I do is that I freeze the butter, grate it, and then put it into the flour. And what happens is it comes together very quickly. You'll be able to see little specks of butter throughout your biscuits, which is always good. And your biscuits will be delightful. They will be good. And you know, you can still do it with your hands. And because the butter is frozen, it doesn't break down. And so it's kind of like looking at Grand. If you get the Grand biscuits in the freezer section, there's also another brand, but some of them say they're butter versus this versus that. They have all kinds of different varieties. But those that have butter, you can see the little specks of butter all throughout the biscuit. So keep that in mind. Butter is a great substitute for the shortening. So what I like to do with my bacon is to sprinkle a little black pepper. Now, we have a store here that's called Fresh Market. And Fresh Market actually sells black pepper bacon, where the black pepper has been already placed on the bacon. But you pay a premium just to have them put the black pepper on it. So we're going to do our own black peppering, put our own pepper on there. Plus, you get to control how much pepper you like. And if you don't like pepper, then obviously you don't have to do that. If you like like maple. Sometimes you can find maple bacon, and you can certainly marinate your bacon in a little maple syrup overnight. Put it in, and you just know you can't cook it as high as what you would normally prepare because it will burn. Or you can even do it with brown sugar and sprinkle brown sugar on it, put it in the oven. Oh my goodness, that is the best bacon ever. And I don't usually use the brown sugar when I'm doing it in the skillet. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I just don't. I don't know if I don't want the stickiness on the skillet or what. But in the oven, I'll definitely do it. Now I'm going to peek at our muffins. Oh yeah, they look great. So they're still working in there. And I didn't think to look at our biscuits. Oh yeah, they're moving right along too. So that's a good thing. All right, so we're working on our bacon. I'm going to get some paper towel. And I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to move this up a little bit. I don't know. My gas stove has a tendency to get extremely hot back in the back when it's operating. Okay, so I'll cancel that. I peeked at the muffins. They look good, but they're not quite ready yet. We can see that. Okay, so this bacon smells good. I love it. You can smell the pepper. I'm going to add just a little bit more of the pepper on the back. I put some on the front side and we flip it. And I'm even throwing a little bit over here on that sausage. And what I like to do is to take my bacon and put it, you find the hot spot in your skillet. And I know the way this particular stove cooks, it gets pretty hot on the outer portions. And so very often I'll just kind of move things to the outer spot. So I'm going to bring the sausage in, and I'm going to put the bacon on the outside because I want this to get nice and crispy. Okay, our sausage is looking good. And I need to flip this one. I don't know why he didn't want to flip. What a rascal. Okay, so our bacon's there. All right, that's good to go. So we're going to let that continue to work. I'm going to keep an eye on those muffins and go from there. Now, our homemakers, our young homemakers, cooking. When you cook from scratch at home, that is a money saver. Because, first of all, you're selecting what it is that you want to prepare. You're also selecting what you're putting into the dish that you're preparing, and it's more focused for yourself and for your family, which is always great. And that's just something to keep in mind. And cooking at home saves you, because when you prepare, like we're preparing, I've got enough for a couple of days, actually about 3 days for us because it's just a two, about 3 days of breakfast muffins and biscuits, depending upon how many people are here. If the grands come over, all of this is going to be gone, because when they come in, it's like bringing the army in. And when they leave, there's not a biscuit left and not a muffin left. And that's okay, because I like that. I like for them to have a good appetite. Okay, so let's take a look at these muffins and see how they're doing. Oh yeah, they're looking good. I'm going to turn them around just a little bit, and I'm going to have to use a knife instead of a toothpick because I don't know where they are. I can't find them. So I'm going to take a knife. There, I know they're here. I know I have them. and we are going to test our muffins. So I'm gonna pull this out. I see a couple that I'm pretty sure aren't quite ready. No, not quite. They need just a little more time. Maybe about 5 more minutes. Get that back in there. Oh, they look pretty. They're looking pretty. Now, it looks to me that they're going to need to brown. That's what they're working on, browning. All right, so our bacon is coming along, and I'm going to give them one more flip. Our sausage looks good. Flipping that bacon over so it's nice and pretty and golden. How many of you save your bacon grease? You know, now's a good time to be able to do that. I know some of you may not. Some people aren't bacon people. But during these times, you know, your mom always had, or my mom did, she always had a can that she kept close, or a jar, where she saved her bacon grease. And she was able to use it when she was cooking other things. Like if she was fixing green beans, she'd throw a little bit of the bacon grease in there to cook her onions and the garlic. So, oh yeah. So there's our first batch of bacon coming out. And our sausage. Oh, guys, I wish you could smell this. Smells wonderful. Okay. Now, let me get a bowl. I'm going to use one of my little ramekins. I'm going to pour the bacon grease off. And, you know, it already has pepper in there, which is going to be fine. So now we're going to fry up a couple of eggs while the rest of this is finishing up. How about that? Okay, I've got some eggs, and I'm going to turn my heat down just a little bit. Now, I think I'm going to scramble these eggs just a little. Let me see if I have a larger bowl. You can see, I'll show you. I left just enough in here in the cabinet. I was thinking you could see, but I left just enough in my cabinet so that we can function until they pull these cabinets down. So let me see. So they're pretty empty. And we're going to, won't be long. So I'm going to get this larger bowl. And I'm going to break my eggs up in there. I'm going to take this off the heat just a minute. I have 4 eggs. There's 1. 2. 3. And 1 more. There's our 4. Let me get a fork. Then you guys put a little bit of milk in your eggs. Sometimes I even put the buttermilk in my eggs. Just depends on what I have. And but it just gives it a little extra layer of fluffiness. Sometimes I add cheese to the eggs. And just depends, just depends. Now, one more peek before we get focused on the eggs. I don't want to burn up our muffins. Okay, they're looking good, they're looking good. I'm actually going to take this towel. I'm going to sit it there. And we are going to take these muffins out. Oh, 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 oh. Wow. They are beautiful and they smell wonderful. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn off the lower oven and bring those biscuits up so you can see them. They are getting there, but they need to brown. Putting them in where they're closer to get to. Cut that lower portion off. I'm going to get just a smidgen of milk. Just a smidgen. I'm going to whip this up. And when you're fixing eggs, you want your fire down on low because you don't want them to cook too fast when you're scrambling them. All right, so there's our eggs. I'll get a spurtle. I'm going to, we have peppers, so I'm just going to add just a little bit of salt so that they won't be quite so fresh. And I think as I stir these up, there's going to be enough pepper in there. So we're going to work on these while the biscuits are finishing up. Have you guys had your breakfast this morning? Come on in. I love it when we can get together as family and sit down at the table and have a wonderful meal together. It is always a good time. So I'm going to let those eggs cook just a second. We're almost finished, guys. Let's see what we got going on here. Oh, good, good. So, Emma, you got a brand that you can use in your area? That's good. All right. Now, we, the brands, it's not that the brands are changing. It's just that some of the companies are having problems getting things to the store, whether it's because it's hard keeping some of their employees. Some of the employees did not come back yet. And I say yet because people have to work. If they're going to feed their family, they have to work. And they can just kind of, you can only hang around and hang out for a short time. And then you got to get serious and start thinking about what you're going to do to feed your family. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They're browning up. That's a good thing. So we are almost ready to plate this up. So we have our eggs. I love eggs. You just kind of pull through there. Get them ready gently. I'm not really scraping the bottom. I'm just kind of moving those eggs so that they will cook pretty quickly and keep going. We are just about ready to sit down. As soon as these eggs are finished, oh my goodness. We're going to have a good muffin. We're going to have some biscuits. And we've got butter over here. I'm going to finish up while I open up this butter because we're going to need some of this butter for our biscuits. Woo, that's going to be good. So, let's finish up our eggs. Now, you all know the big guy is bashful when it comes to a camera. So, he's not going to, you may see his hand. That'll be about it because he's not going to show his face on a live camera. The only time I get him is if he doesn't know that I'm taping him. You know, then he'll go ahead and he has to endure it at that point. Okay, guys, I'm gonna turn this heat off. Our eggs are finishing up, so they're light and fluffy. Oh yeah, these are right. They'll sit there a minute, they'll touch up. Let me get a plate. Now, let's see if I can bring you so that you can see our, get a full view. You get the muffins. Yay. Let's see if I can get them out of there. I got our bacon. I'm going to finish that up later on. Take one of our muffins out. Oh, yum, yum, yum. A good hot muffin. Yes. Those little pecans. Taste so good from Preheat. If you don't have Preheat, you probably have a brand that you like. I'm going to give him a sausage. Let's see how our muffins are coming along. They're still a little light, but that's okay. We're working on it. We'll have those finished in just a moment. So I'm going to use this. A little noisy today. Yummy. I even looked at a recipe for, I want some really, 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 really fluffy pancakes. And I have a good pancake, but I tasted some last week. We went out for breakfast and they were like eating a cloud. And I got to figure out how they did that. Now let me get the big guy fork. He needs a fork. Let me peek at the biscuits, see how we're doing here. Well, they're going to be pretty. They're not quite brown enough, but I want to be able to see how they look on the bottom. Where's our knife? So you can tell they're still light brown, so they're not quite ready yet. Not yet, but they're going to be. But they're nice and light, so that's a good thing. All right, so they're going to finish up. I'm going to give the big guy the rest of this because he's going to be cutting grass and doing some other things today. So he needs a good breakfast. And I'm going to call him and tell him to come and get his plate. Stay right there. Hey, big guy, come and get your plate. Now, while he's in the process of coming to get his plate, he's upstairs. He was trying to stay quiet, and that's always a good thing. So, oh, good. Yes, the butter for the shortening. Oh, good, Ronnie. She says she's been putting her bacon in the oven. Oh, good. And then put it in the freezer so when they want bacon, they can pull it out and finish it off for a meal. That's a great idea. All right, big guy. Okay. All right. Now, so we're making an exchange. And I told you the big guy's not going to appear face to face. So just hang right there. All right, honey.
Thank you.
You tell me how it tastes.
Okay.
So, par baking. Good idea. That's a good way that's a good term for it. Par baking. High ration shortening. I'm not sure. Oh, it's at Walmart. It's a great value Walmart brand. That's a good idea. You know, I don't usually buy it, but I will now. Kim says she saved some bacon grease as well, and she likes her bacon crispy. That's what Emma's saying as well. Ronnie says she's on a roll this morning. Hey, Tania. She says she loves to cook eggs in beef bacon grease. She says she hadn't been able to find beef bacon anywhere for a long time. You know, it's not easy to find, but I do know it exists. Thank you. They are some pretty muffins. They did turn out nice. I can't wait for those biscuits to come out. You know, Tania is going to be on with us Monday, and I'm looking forward. You know, we're looking forward to having a great conversation. It's going to be a lot of fun. She's a beautiful lady and a wonderful mom, and I know she's going to have some things to share with us. And she's doing it, girl. She is doing it and doing some things in her home that are just you're going to go, wow, how do you get it all done? So those are going to be some of the things that we talk about on Monday. Now, let me see how those biscuits are going. And then I'll be ready to let you go. We're almost there. Now, I know some of you, you know, it's Saturday morning. So, oh, yeah, they're light brown, and that's okay. I may stick them back tomorrow when I serve them. I'll probably put them back in the oven just to give them a chance to finish browning and to warm up. But I'm going to take a little bit of butter, and you see I've got my butter right here. I'm going to take this and rub it over the top so that the tops of my biscuits, number one, will be nice and buttery, but number two, they're going to be nice and soft, and they'll stay nice and soft. All right. Now let me see if I can pop this one up. How's he doing? I'm going to open it up, see if it's ready. Oh, it's hot, 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 hot. But that's okay. We're going to try it anyway. Oh, yeah. Let me bring you down closer. Nice and hot. Get you in closer. Okay. Now, I broke him apart. You can see it's nice and light. I don't know if you can see the smoke coming off of it, but it is going to be delicious. Now, I'm going to take, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going over here, get a little pat of butter, put that in there, turn that off. I'm going to put the two of these together because I don't want to have to butter each side. Let that stay there together just a minute. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, they are so light. You can see. Oh. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I mean. Now, what I like to do, break my bacon, put my bacon in there, put my biscuit top on there, And I have a Sammy, a biscuit Sammy. Let me get a paper towel or napkin so that I won't eat like I have no home training. So here's our bacon. Mmm. Mmm. Honey, fix these biscuits. Throw on some grape jelly or strawberry jelly, even some maple syrup or some honey, because they're light and feathery. They have delicious layers. You can do it. So if they don't come out perfect the first time, do it again. Do what I did. I got a little too much buttermilk on it. I just worked in a little more flour, and they're still light and fluffy. Family, I hope you have had an absolutely wonderful time today, because I have certainly enjoyed having you right here. And I know most of the time, we're doing other things for the week. But today I thought, let's just have a good breakfast. And breakfast is always good, whether it's in the morning, whether it's at noontime at lunch, or even for dinner. Breakfast is always a good choice. And those apple muffins are wonderful. I'm going to take one out. Haven't tasted it yet, so we have to take him out. See if I can get him up there. So you can see how pretty it is. I'm going to open him up. He's still hot, very hot. Let me open it and give it a taste. Oh, it's light. I like that. When you don't overbeat that flour, you're going to get a nice light muffin. Sorry, guys. I know I'm talking with my mouth full. But you know what? These are so good. And they're warm. Delicious. They came out wonderful. Now, some of you probably already know, because if you've been through some of my videos, you know that probably, I want to say fall. The first time I did these apple muffins, I can't remember how many falls ago. I think it was 2 falls ago, I did these apple muffins. And so if you look back toward Thanksgiving, back toward that part, you're going to find these apple muffins done again. But they're good every time. And I think the last time I did them, I actually did them in those jumbo muffin tins, and rather than the small ones. But you know what? I think I like the small ones better, because the portion wise, it's just a good size. I don't feel like I need to cut it in half and eat half. Now, of course, if you're giving it to the kids and they're going to burn it up, then that's going to be great. They can handle that large muffin. I can't. I need a smaller muffin. So these little muffins work out just fine for us. Okay. Yes, this kitchen, Deb, smells so good. San, you are so sweet. You're starting late. Oh, you babysat last night. San's been busy, so she needed a little extra sleep, because I'm sure they wore you out. That is great. That is great. That's nice of you. And you've never scrambled eggs? Oh, in the frying pan? Only in a pot. Huh, and how about that? I've never done it in a pot. Well, we only scramble in the skillet, or I do anyway. But I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters. Deb says she loves biscuits with homemade jelly. Yes, ma'am. That is always delicious. Oh, geez. Um, my oven, I put them both on 350. And the reason for doing it, I could have cut them up to 400, but you know, sometimes when I'm talking, I'll forget. And I didn't want them to burn. So that's the only reason I kept it at 350, so it would be safe. It took them just a little, especially the biscuits. It took the biscuits a little bit longer than what they probably, you know, we could have put them in for 15 minutes at 400 and they would have been brown and ready to go. But I didn't want to overcook them and I didn't want to burn them. So that's the reason why I did. But typically I put the biscuits on for about 400. But that's going to be great. So I know all of you are absolutely having a fantastic day today. I'm having a fantastic day today because I'm starting it out with you. And I hope that your day is wonderful and that in spite of the temperatures or whatever may be falling from the sky, we are all blessed to be here. And don't forget to light your candles and to keep people lifted up because there are a lot of people going through some things, whether it's sickness, whether it's the Ukraine, whatever it is that they're having trouble with, God can fix it. So we are going to go our separate ways for this Saturday. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. And I'm looking forward to seeing you on Monday at lunchtime. And we are going to have a wonderful conversation. We're going to kick back. We're going to enjoy our lunch and just chit chat. So I'm so looking forward to that. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Enjoy yourself and stay safe. And to all of you, those of you who are new, thank you, thank you. Oh, good, Ronnie. She said she's going to make biscuits this morning. All right. And you are going to love them. And, you know, it doesn't matter how many you make. We can make less than 3 cups. You can just put in 2 and make only a few biscuits. So you have an absolutely fantastic day. And if you're not a member of the family, you're going to want to be. So don't leave without hitting that subscribe button. And give me a thumbs up, please, because that helps to support the channel. And thank you, Sue. I have enjoyed you. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.